everyone, today we are going to be learning the TikTok inversion, which is an add-on pose to our manta ray knowledge. So if you haven't seen my manta ray pose tutorial, make sure to click the link up above to check that out before joining today's class. You'll need to be able to comfortably stand inside of the hammock to practice the TikTok inversion. So if you do have a lower ceiling height, like 9 feet, you might like to lengthen your hammock and bring it lower to the ground. I highly recommend watching through this tutorial before getting on your hammock if you are not familiar with this pose. It is also very important to get the hammock in the correct position so that you do not fall out. So if you are new to using the hammock, please be extra careful and use a spotter or teacher to help check you are doing it correctly. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so to do the TikTok inversion, you're going to start behind the hammock and come into a standing position. So palms face down, let's bring the right foot onto the hammock first, making sure that the toe and heel are on either side. So it's just the arch of the foot that's stepping on the hammock. Reaching up with both hands, pull up nice and strong, pressing down through the right heel so you're not swinging at all. If you do swing, come back down, go a little slower. So pulling up with the hands, press down super slow so you slowly lift that left leg off the ground. Keeping the left leg behind the hammock, turn your hips towards the left, towards the free leg. You're gonna bend that left knee until the heel touches the knee of the right leg. You're flexing the foot, the toes are on the back side of the hammock. You're gonna press the arch of your foot into the hammock so you can slide the sit bones down, creating an L shape with the body. The left leg that's on the hammock should be parallel with the ground. So sometimes if you go too high, so for example, too high, it's going to create a line of the body with the foot higher. And if you go too low, same sort of thing, too low, you're going to have this lovely shape with the foot towards the ground. So the knees are around about the correct height that you need to get a parallel shape. So you release the right leg, and then keep hanging on with that left hand. You're going to pop the hammock over your left hip. So this is the left leg on the hammock. So I'm grabbing on with both hands on both sides. I'm gonna pop my hips over to the front. So the hammock is now around my lower back and my hip. It's gonna be a lot on the knee, so maybe you can bend the leg a little bit without losing any height in the foot. You can now release the left hand, bring it over to the right pole. Bring your right foot onto the hammock. So you're gonna switch the tension onto the opposite leg. This left leg is gonna come down, and the hammock that's along the length of the leg is gonna come between the legs, and then up overhead. The pinky edge of the toe is resting on the fabric on the front side. If you do feel safe, you can release the hands here, activating through the core, so you've got the lock around the lower back. To come out, reach up onto the hammock, release that left foot that's up above the head to the front side of the hammock, so the knee's gonna come through between the hammock and your right leg. Both feet are gonna come to the front, switching grip to both sides, down into a cradle, slipping that right shoulder to the front, so the hammock is resting on top of the shoulder, on the back of the shoulder on top. Reaching the right hand across to the front side of the hammock, and turning all the way to the back of the space. So if we had the hammock up higher, then we'd be in a knee hang, then we could come into a seat. But from here, we're just basically gonna come to standing. So we're gonna do that again on the right side. So starting with that right leg stepping onto the hammock. So coming behind the hammock, setting up, bringing the right arch of the foot onto the hammock. Reaching up with both hands, stepping nice and slow, floating the left leg nice and slow so you're not swinging. Turn your hips to the left leg stays behind the hammock. Bend that left knee. Arch of the foot is gonna step at knee height. Press against the hammock, so push it away. As you slide with control, the hips come down. So we're in this lovely L-sit shape. You can release the right leg to the front. You're gonna pop the hammock over your hip. So using the hand grip to help pop. So you're using more hand grip or weight into the hand grip. It alleviates the tension that's around the sit bones and the lower back. So you can bring the hammock over the hip bone. We're going to change that left hand to come to the right, or the pole that's closest to you. Switching the feet, right foot is going to step onto the hammock, take that tension, left foot releases. You need the hammock between the legs, so bring that left leg to wrap around the outside, and then kicking it up So it rests the pinky edge of the toe, rests against that front side of the hammock. Some common mistakes here is instead of that left leg coming around, so the hammock's in the middle, sometimes what will happen is maybe the leg will not wrap around. So if I don't have the hammock in between my legs, I've got nothing to hold around my lower back. And so if I released here, I would fall out, which is something that you need to be aware of. So make sure that hammock is in between the legs and you've got all that tension around the lower back. It's probably best before you release your hands to just check and go super slow, just so that you've got that hand grip to catch you if the wrap is not correct around the legs. All right, let's try that again. One more time on the right side, doing it correctly this time. Okay, coming to standing, right foot on the hammock, left leg bends behind, kicking the arch of the foot, sliding on down into that L sit. You can see my foot is a little lower this time. You're going to pop the hammock over the hip. So you can do it with hand grip on this right pole if you want to, but it can feel a little safer if you can grab both poles. Switching the feet, right foot steps onto the hammock, left leg comes around the outside to the back, comes up above the face, pinky edge of the foot is on the hammock. Nice hold through the hand grip, stay here. Or you can release if you know that the wrapper is around the lower back, it's gonna catch you. You need to be super strong in the legs, so no bending. You need to really be strong and active through the legs. To come out, hand grips comes up. Reaching up nice and high, you can take a little pose here if you would like to. Extending that left arm to the back of the space, pointing the left knee to the ground, or extending the left leg. And then turn the hips back up to the sky. Both feet are gonna come to that back side, sliding down into cradle, releasing right shoulder to the front. Coming all the way out, knee hang, seated, back into standing if you have the height, otherwise just come on out into standing. Let's do that 3 times on the left side. Big breath in, big breath out. All right, reset. So grabbing the hammock all together, stepping the left foot on the hammock this time. Grabbing up, come to standing nice and slow, so we're not swinging at all, so you can help find that gravity, that center of balance. You're gonna bend that right leg this time. Arch of the foot's gonna kick onto the hammock at knee height and slide on down with the hips. Keep holding on with both hands on both sides. Release the left leg to the front. Beautiful, you're gonna pop the hammock over your hip. Beautiful, stepping your left leg onto the hammock. So toes are pointing in the same direction to the back side. Right foot releases. Right leg's gonna wrap around the outside to the back. Let's release that right hand to the left pole. And then stepping the right foot nice and high. So pinky edge of the right foot is on the front side of the hammock. So you can see there's a lot of core activation here. A lot of straight legs. Reaching up nice and high. Release the right leg. We can take a pretty pose here if you would like to. Then coming into cradle, kicking both legs to the front. And then knees into the chest, release the left shoulder to the front. Coming all the way out, back into standing. So for this round, I wanna show what happens with that hip wrap. If you have it or if you don't have it, another common mistake. So I'm gonna turn my back to you so you can see the other side of my body while we get into it. So again, left foot, steps on, reaching up, standing up nice and slow. Bending the right knee, arch of the foot of that right foot at knee height, presses against the hammock, and I slide my hips down. So the correct way here, showing you what it should look like, I pop the hips over, so the hammock comes over the hip. I'm gonna release that right hand to the back pole. The left foot's gonna step and take that tension, so I switch my feet. And then the right leg is gonna come around the outside, so it's in between my legs, and step up nice and high. So I've got this nice hip wrap happening on that right side of the body. It's all the way around my lower back. Reaching up high, release the leg. I'm just gonna quickly show you what happens if I don't have this hip popped over, or the hip is not over the hip. The hammock is not over the hip. So we're gonna step that one here, bring it back underneath, throw in the L sit here, So without popping the hammock over the hip, I switch my feet. See, the hammock is between the legs. I'm gonna step my right foot up. You can see there's no locked action happening over the lower back. So if you don't feel a really tense hammock lock around this lower back section, then you've done it wrong. And you'll most likely, if you do let go, you're gonna slip out because the hammock's gonna come over the opposite hip. So it should feel really tense around that lower back section. You're creating almost like a hip wrap on a side angle. Okay, so I'm gonna show you that again. So this is the correct way. Left foot steps onto the hammock. Reaching up, step up, nice and slow, no swinging. Right foot knee bends, kick the right arch of the foot at knee level, out long. We've got a nice parallel line with that right leg. Correct way, keep hanging on with both hands, pop the hammock over the hip. Release the right hand to the back. Switching the legs, left foot steps on, right foot switches off. Wrapping that hammock around the hip. Stepping the right foot nice and high. When you're locked into place, you can release the hands here. It's super tight right here. If you're not used to a hip wrap, you're probably gonna get some bruises here. The more that you practice this sort of thing, then it will get easier with time. Just go gentle with yourself if it is hurting. Then we're gonna bring both feet to the front. So you can come down into a cradle, release the hands, then all the way out to seated or onto the ground. I hope you enjoyed learning this pose today. Let me know how you went with it down in the comments below and tag me at Aerial Yoga Life on Instagram with your photo or video of it. If you liked this video, please support my free YouTube content by hitting the thumbs up icon and subscribing down below. Until next time, have a beautiful day. If you liked this tutorial and would like to put the TikTok inversion into a sequence, then check out the day 27 of the Embrace Your Light series over here. Or if you would like to play with a more advanced trick tutorial, then check out my crossback tutorial over here. So if you are not, wait a second,